This was fun.
All right, it's about that time.
Yeah.
What are we thinking? We're ready to start?
Yeah.
How are we feeling? Just a big deep breath. Welcome. This is Rubina Mazurka, beautiful.
Yeah.
So I'll give her the mic, I suppose. All right. Thank you.
To Stradella, which is called Aria di Chiesa, which is the aria of a church. Likely written around 1660, but it is attributed, they don't know who really wrote it or when. It's a Baroque aria that sets a prayer in which the narrator asks for forgiveness in a repenting queen, which hopefully translated. Up next, you'll hear Queen Zempoala's aria from Henry Purcell's unfinished semi-opera from 1695 called The Indian Queen. With its outdated title and ambiguous form and completion status, this aria acts as a standalone, featuring a delightful contrast between the somber topic of unrequited love and almost jesting, upbeat music. Which is Almirena's aria from Handel's 1711 opera Rinaldo. And this is a hit, so to speak. And Handel knew that this was a hit as he recycled it several times. It appears in 1705 in his opera Almira, and then it appears in an oratorio from 1707. It is a plea to be left alone, to weep over one's fate and yearn over one's liberty. Should be aware of that.
Yeah.
Stay
some poetry for us.
Alright. So, Rubina sent me an email going like, okay, so the first one, yes.
Can you speak up
Yes,
a little?
I'll try.
Thank you.
If I'm not yelling or projecting enough, let me know.
Like you're talking to people out on the street.
Okay, sounds good. So when she sent me an email going like, hey, the first part is gonna be like heartbreak, and I was like, okay, cool, I got some poetry in that. So here is a series of heartbreak poems, and then content warning, really sad. So if you don't want to be sad, you can go. But then come back, because it's not all that sad. All right, so first poem is called Shadow Puppets on West Broad Street. The lights are off in my studio apartment. I watch the Ohio sun go down. I'm up and moving, dancing around the little kitchen island, myself and yet not myself. I'm trying to remember my body before I thought I loved him. I loved him. Loved him enough to forget the lyrics to an old favorite. My neighbor is blaring his music. Like me, I wonder if we're both trying to let go. Things we cannot see. A song I don't know begins to play. I imagine cursing to his face, disgracing his name in more ways than unjustly guessing the lyrics to the new song. My music is loud, but not loud as my neighbor's. His bass beats off my walls, slamming into me. He knocks on my door, asks if it was bothering me. Someone wrote a complaint about him to the building the other day. I told him I didn't mind. It made things less lonely. I didn't tell him that. I hear him playing the guitar one day. I asked him what guitar he was playing. He didn't know. I'm looking for a sound other than my own voice. I didn't tell him that either. My pastor in my hometown would say there are worse things than loneliness. My body has forgotten. I slam my back onto my air mattress. I stop looking for the holes to stop it from bleeding more air. I flatten with my mattress. My eyes flatten to the walls. Shadows are beginning their dance of rabbits and crocodiles again. I watch them dance for me. It takes me a while to see things appearing larger than they really are. A left shoulder blade, a jacket hanging loose in the closet, my love for him, a raised right elbow, a JBL speaker on a little kitchen island, sounding softer, becoming lighter. All right, this one's kind of fun. Students and Bad Words, based off my students. They are restless. Restless like rain, restless like hell. They scream out of fear and excitement. I can't get them to calm down, like the rainwater washing down the street. It's overflowing the drains. I turn the TV volume higher to drown their noise quieter. They start to tune in to the screen rather than the chaos outside, guiding their attention to be like quiet matters. One of my 9-year-olds sits next to me. He's from Kazakhstan. He says people are bad there because they say a lot of bad words. Only if he knew. I got 9 bad words flooding in the back of my mind, overflowing in bad thoughts I thought would drain with age. And they aren't even mine. Bad words that aren't even mine were told to me. 4 of them saying how you never loved me. That's kind of sad. Anyway, the marina. Don't be with me in the same neighborhood, with a part of you reaching to be in another. Don't be with me when you can't be with. Me in one heart, but me in your bed. I'm lying if I said I never loved you. I never wanted parts. Flesh, not my flesh. Bone, not my bone. Lying on the left side of your bed. I'm dying right next to you. You never did want how I wanted. All I needed was you by my side. Even at your side, with wants waning, I've left the parts of myself you only wanted to be with inside every pixel of your TV screen you're watching. Hands. I love how Shakespeare, in the spirit of Juliet, says how placing hands together is like kissing. 2 palms like 2 lips sounding like a bouquet of colored tulips symbolizing rebirth. Once planted, the hardy bulbs come back every year. This year they came back every month, and they died each time you left when you promised you wouldn't again. And then, last one. To do. quote, "Don't tell her you love her if you're not willing to put in work." Doing It Wrong by Michaela Chairez and Mouse Hodges. The last time you told me you loved me, I couldn't say it back. It wasn't hard to notice our pattern, our cycle of loneliness. Have you bought that couch for your living room yet? Earlier this year, you borrowed a blow-up mattress for yourself when your parents came to visit. You blown it up again when your friend needed a place to crash, then used it for a while as a placeholder until you finally bought that couch you've always said you wanted but waited until it was at its cheapest price. My father reminds me that you work for the things you want and you take care of the things you value. You told your father that you wanted him to tell you he loved you more. The last time you told me you loved me, you said you always loved me. But it wasn't hard to notice your concept of love was a resource you used when it was only convenient to you. How was it we can be in the same room, the same bed, and at the same time be at completely different places? The last time you told me you loved me, I buried my face into your chest. Feeling like another reminder, God, that at your place there weren't just dirty dishes piling in your sink, clean laundry left, waiting in your basket, a refrigerator holding a few eggs, and a hard case of old seltzer, but a woman you chose not to love whole. Thank you.
That was beautiful, Michaela. Thank you. No. Okay. So.
They were selling razor blades real cheap out there, $5.
Oh, no.
Okay.
All right. We'll do some Mozart, so don't worry. It's gonna be perfect programming. Unintentional, but perfect. So the next two arias are in fact Mozart's 1786 opera, The Marriage of Figaro. You're going to hear the Countess's aria, and then you're going to hear Susanna's aria. So the Countess's aria, Dove Sono, is sung as she awaits Susanna, who is her maid, to arrive so they can complete an overly complicated scheme in order to catch her husband, the Count, in an act of infidelity. She mourns, she as the Countess, the days when the Count was a loving husband, and ends the aria with a new hope that her own faithfulness will move him to love her once again like he did when they were young. from the Vociferous, thank you so much, is sung by Susanna, who is the Countess's maid. And at this point in the opera, she is dressed as the Countess herself, even though she is not the Countess, as part of the aforementioned overly complicated scheme meant to catch the Count in an act of infidelity red-handed. The aria has layered meaning as it begins with Susanna playing into a flirtatious persona in order to tease her own betrothed, Figaro, who is also in the scene, hiding in the bushes, but he doesn't know that she knows that he's in the bushes. Halfway through the aria, the tone changes and the music reflects her sincerity as she begins to sing as herself to him as opposed to as this flirtatious persona that's meant to drive him wild with whatever it is he's feeling in her bushes.
introductions. It's just more day-to-day, dailiness. I wrote more mundane, less flirtatious. Because you were like, flirtatious? Well, yeah.
I wrote
I can't say I have flirty
a
poems.
5,000-word email to Michaela.
It was a great email.
Thank you.
So this is called View of My Window. This is from the first room I lived in San Francisco. And it was a great window. I look forward to the openness, the multiplicity of houses and apartments. I see people as they see me, both neighbor and stranger. I'm on the top floor of the house in the far right corner. It feels deathly cold most mornings, so I wear my Sherpa jacket meant for when I go out, but I'm in. Under the covers of a full-sized bed, I embrace myself for my morning routine. I need coffee, but right now, I look outside to see what's outside of me. What's outside of me is a next-door neighbor's roof, steam rising from long cylinder pipes. The roof connecting my eyes over to the flat across from my room. I wonder if they see me more, as much as I try to see more of them. Curious about their regular, curious about their normal, eating cereal, sitting across from what looks to be their mother. Who's to say? I'm as close as I can get. I don't believe this is creepy, as it is common. With curtains drawn away, there's a world playing, orchestrating the day by day. It helps when I can't help but lie still, lie near to the voice outside of me. I'm not always good at hearing, but I can see there is something good about rising lazy eyes early. The house next to the flat is a couple. The man sits outside on the balcony doing work, I suppose. The woman is downstairs, sitting on the couch watching her phone. This is their morning becoming mine, becoming ours, if they knew. Hope you guys look at other people outside here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm scared to see something inappropriate on this.
Yeah.
I'm like, as soon as I see someone, I'm like, ooh, hi.
I had an experience like that I'll tell you about.
That was a weird.
Spicy. Alright, this one's called First Snow. This is when I lived in Ohio. Build a snowman, giving it all you have to give. A small carrot nose, a newspaper scarf, a top hat made from a to-go box. This is your first snowman. You don't think how it will melt when it comes to drip from your balcony. All you can think of is how things build from the bottom to top, how things go to where they find themselves. You think how you're made, so small like a carrot nose. You see yourself as ink sinking off the newspaper page, sinking into ice. You melt inside. That's how. And then this was called Gravity Apartments. This was the apartment building I lived when I was in Ohio. I moved to the edge of Franklinton, into a little box, carrying who I was and who I needed to become. Those I met on the way asked where I'm coming from. California, I'd say. They give me a look of bewilderment. What are you doing here? The train right next to the building passes with that sound that wakes me up and lullabies me to sleep. I look out my windows. It engulfs me whole. It becomes an endless sea of blue, then gray, sometimes red, then orange. At the bottom of the building is Roosevelt Coffee and Tasporium. I treat myself there at times. After I moved, I started to take birth control. I weigh 15 pounds heavier, with little to no cramps, but my skin now dries and cracks, especially as it's getting colder. As I get colder, I dry and crack. The snow begins to fall. I'm cramped alone. What am I doing here? I practice handstands against my walls, looking at everything upside down. Even right side up, it all looks wrong. The train passes with that sound waking me up. I go outside, around the building to the art walls. Love has gravity, one reads, with hands painted in a heart, in a shape of a heart. It points down to an X that says, "You are here. I am here." A couple walks by. They stop close to me. I tell them I could take their picture, and they take mine. We're here. They leave, and I go back to my little box, telling my heart to be painted on that wall that's grounded right side up and upside down. Everything will be all right. Every little move takes time. The train passes again with that sound, lullabying me to sleep. I close my eyes and feel the vibrations of the train and sync to my heartbeat. This is another view of my window in Ohio. A ruler-shaped measure taller than I could see, I no longer want to see. See me across from the new apartment building infrastructure. On the 6th floor, I never felt lower, sitting on a seat that I took from the building, because I wanted to, staring at a laptop, working my mind off the love that wasn't real to feel. At a desk I got from a neighbor a few floors below me for free. There's an apartment group chat. A beautiful man in my building included me in on it. He was very beautiful. My coworkers found the group chat weird. It's strange to know those in your apartment building. I don't know. Strange to know how it doesn't matter how long I'm here, I still don't feel like I belong. And I want this city to be mine. It's been my hiding place. It too hides itself within itself. I was told it's a city people have 1 foot in and 1 foot out. My right foot bounces its heel anxiously. The left is calm. A part of me will always be shaking, and the other reassuring the quakes inside my body. I like the blinds pulled up. It opens a long, narrow view of the sky that is mine. Mine, with my palm open, reaching through the hard glass. Mine.
So the next aria, in Light of the Mundane, comes from Puccini's 1895 opera La Bohème, in which the character Mimi is explaining her life story, as one does, to Rodolfo, whom she had quite literally just met. Taking place on Christmas Eve, this aria is a beautiful example of verismo opera, or realism in opera. Mimi and Rodolfo are in Rodolfo's flat. Mimi's candle had just gone out, and she comes to her neighbor, Rodolfo, to ask him to light her candle for her from his. As Rodolfo and Mimi get to know each other, they obviously fall in love. The beginning of the aria reflects Mimi's retelling of her mundane, everyday schedule. However, in the middle section, Mimi seems to have an epiphany as she starts to feel her love for Rodolfo growing, and this shift is reflected in the music. At the end, she grounds herself once again, and the aria ends with an almost patter-like phrase where she apologizes for bothering him on this inopportune day because he was about to go out with his friends and didn't, so he could hang out with her. give it up for Michaela once again.
Alright, this set are family poems. Write about your family. They will sometimes hate you for it.
Don't invite him to the reading.
Yeah, they're like, record. I'm like, maybe not. This was called A Backyard Lemon Tree. I hang low in the sun and start to peel little specks of dead skin. I brush them off and wait for my eyes to feel heavy enough to fall asleep, like two heavy lemons falling from their stem, breaking open on a side I used to peel for the slices that are still good, enough to see my future erode into a toothless smile. I would sprinkle specks of sugar on the yellow slices of sourness to sweeten the sting on my tongue after I tell my mom my teeth were meant to fall out. Her face would pucker at me and say, nothing was ever meant to fall, nothing was ever meant to break. But my words do, and her words do, our tongues hanging out like two heavy lemons, about to hit the ground. We break open and peel for the parts of us that are still good. Grandeur Place. A grand magnolia tree stretches its thick roots under the driveway. My father wants it uprooted. It's cracking our driveway. My mother wants it to stay. It's so beautiful, so grand since the beginning, standing strong in front of an olive green house. Us three kids used to stick black olives on our thumbs. We raised them over our eyes. My grandpa told my mom I have eyes like his mother's, really dark. We'd run through the sprinklers, around the tree, smelling of magnolias, our feet cracking on fallen leaves, the bottom of our heels calloused like my mother's and father's hands, cartwheels and handstands. We land on our bottoms, lie down and look toward the sky. Wow. We didn't know of dreams in terms of future careers, but in clouds, shape-shifting and changing as they moved. Healing. My mom no longer says, this is a year of healing, every year. I wonder if she's given up. Radical acceptance, she tells me. I have to radically accept the way things are is sometimes the way things gotta be. I want to hold all her losses of great expectations like a newborn baby. I want to wrap it in cloth that bundles it all together. I want to hold it close to my chest and rock it till it sleeps. Rock it until she can feel some sense of ease. My father's poem. Two fists full of cracked knuckle dreams sit in front of me on the kitchen island of the house you built for me. I'm halfway through my life and I still don't know what I'm doing, he tells me. You were making salsa that day. You know, mi abuelo put nothing but hot salsa in his tortillas and just eat them like that. The stove was hot. You wanted more for me than just my words. Everything I have, I've worked for. Remember that, mija. The jalapenos and serrano peppers were popping black bruises on her skin. It was getting hard to breathe as it was when speaking with you. The heat from the comal warmed the space between us as he put the corn tortillas on, waiting longer than usual to flip them. I don't like soft tortillas, he tells me. I like them hard. I remember, you hated anything that fell apart in your hands. And Mama's Mexican rice. I can never make it the way she can, make it with her eyes closed. Rice, oil, tomato sauce, chicken bouillon, and water. Her words like oil anoint my hands as I close my eyes to the sound of her voice over the phone. First, you brown the rice. It doesn't matter how far away I am from her if we haven't spoken in the last few days or weeks. She's as close as stove's flame, reaching for the end of my sleeve. I don't want to burn the rice at the bottom of the pan, I tell her. Put more oil, she says, though I'd hate to get stuck with oily rice, as much as I hate to scrape clean the hard bottom of my $5 pan. I then pour the tomato sauce, let it marinate for a few minutes, the red seeping over like a bloodbath. She reminds me once more of her biggest baby. It felt like I dropped a watermelon when he came out. I dropped the chicken bouillon in the mix and watched the seasoning sink. You're always my baby, my love child. I add the water, cover the pan with the lid, lower the flame, and let it simmer. How long till I let it simmer? How long till you come back home? I'll come back maybe in the summer. I'll come back after I simmer. I simmer at red, my red, like blood, simmers to a soft orange. I feel like you've forgotten about me already. It hasn't been that long. The distance is good. Our blood thicker than oil, thicker than cooking a sweat. Our blood is contained over a controlled low flame. Let it simmer for 20 minutes. Distance simmers, my heart orange, my love soft. This is how you make my rice. Though I can tell just by the looks of it, it's not the same. We're not the same. But I'm still stuck to the bottom of her heart, her huge love seeping all over me.
So now, when so please welcome Jackson Green, who will be telling us what you will be playing.
Hello. So I'll be playing the first movement of the second sonata of Brahms, which was written when he was quite young. Later in his life, he favored the long form for music of instruments like the violin, the cello, and the clarinet, and piano he reserved for shorter pieces. Here I am playing a short excerpt of a longer piece, with one of the few that he wrote for piano.
this up.
Oh my God.
Once again.
I don't know.
Are you sure?
I am sure that's what I wrote in my little notes. All right. That was Brahms.
Oh.
That was Brahms, yeah.
Doesn't sound like you're having fun.
Exactly, I told him it sounds 20th century.
It's very early Brahms, so it's a little
Yeah.
bit.
Later on, you were talking, I got a clue.
Yeah.
That sounds like Chopin or some,
I mean, around the similar time.
Yeah,
yeah.
All right.
the stage is yours.
Just the last few poems.
Sure.
Just, yeah. So this is the first two are San Francisco poems. When I first moved here, I lived with a 9-year-old woman. She was my roommate, and I loved her to pieces. And then she passed away 2 years ago, so this is like in memory of her. The house on Green Street. The caregiver calls it an old rose. I say the color is a light pink sherbet, scooped on a slant between a new neighbor who spends half the year in Barcelona and a couple who took 20 years to finally accept Laverne's invitation for dinner and sweet savory conversation. I believe it is the fog in the morning that sustains the house's cool structure from melting its present position on the hill. In the neighborhood's land of sherbets, cookies and cream, furroyo, and gelato, the city is an unlimited supply of flavor and spice and everything nice, as I imagine Laverne would say. I moved into the city last summer, ready to wait for anything good that wouldn't just leave a cold feeling, that wouldn't just give me a brain freeze. I moved into the house on Green Street with Laverne and her 2 caregivers, Tessie and Carmen, 2 Filipinas who would share their Pensate and life adventures with me. Laverne's Sicilian and turned 90 last November. Born and raised in San Francisco, together our household was the city's best Italian, Mexican, Filipino soft-serve swirl. The history lesson. In the kitchen, living room, up and down the stairs, fluent Tagalog would float around me, sometimes teaching me how Spanish and Tagalog share the same words. Tessie was sitting on the right side of me at the dinner table. She tells me she was a singer in Japan for 10 years before coming to the States, as she sets down the cuchara, the tenedor, and the cuchillo flat beside us. For over 300 years, the Philippines was colonized by Spain, using Spanish to deal with the natives in government, court, trade, streets, etc. Though the same words shared between us held slightly different meanings. Siempre, always, pero siempre, of course. I wondered what native Tagalog sounded like, meant like, must have tasted like, before Spanish tongues twisted inside a dialect they didn't swallow but spit over to new meaning, of what the internet calls Spanish loanwords, as if it was an equal trade, a consensual agreement to borrow a language that was force-fed down the throats of the Philippines to understand how their own voice could no longer be understood in how they spoke. Tessie and I moved on to a different table conversation, but what was said hasn't left as I picked up my cuchara to spoon the ramen she made for me. Fresh starts happen the night before, or the nights before. I move around the things that are constant, resting upon the same pillowcase that's filled with things that are soft. Sweatshirts and scarves resting upon the purpose of being soft, taking on a different shape, a new face than what it was the night before. It rests like a permanent cloud, thinking of what it looks like, who I could look like, who I could be. And then last poem is called Stay With Me. Stay with me. When I walk away, let the valves of my heart be the door of your city's love and ruins. Let my heart rest in front of your city like a fist, after it's fought its way out of a cage. How I'm still in a cage. Let it cling to a snapped rib of permanence that nothing is permanent, not even to itself. Let it claim me into a tiresome song, where I stop and slow down into a soft beat. See who I am becoming, nothing more than difficult, nothing more than transient. The sidewalks uneven, sidestepping onto a curve through all states of being. 3 ties, 3 tries, 3 cities, 2 states, 2 heartbreaks, 1 too many mistakes, 1 me, 1 heart, 1 nothing. Nothing more than difficult, nothing more than transient. If I choose to stay, would you stay with me? Walk with me. With all that I carry, I rest my heart at the front of your city's doors, valves like an open fist. Thank you.
So now we'll have three more arias for you to conclude this concert. Oops. The one that's going to happen right after I stop talking, Son Pochi Fiori, comes from Pietro Mascagni's 1891 opera called L'Amico Fritz. In this aria, it's the firecrackers. In this aria, Suzel, who is the character who sings it, offers a bouquet of flowers to Fritz, who is a wealthy landowner. Suzel is the daughter of one of the tenants. So Suzel, let me recap so I can get my own brain to concentrate. Suzel is the daughter of a tenant of Fritz, for whom she has brought a bouquet of flowers. She sings from the perspective of the flowers she is gifting, and they, the flowers, embrace their own death happily, since they will have died singing praise to Fritz, who is a generous man who has actually promised to pay for her dowry so she can marry. Although originally intending to marry Suzel off, he falls in love with her himself and ends up marrying her at the end of the opera. Son pochi fiori, povere viole, sono libro d'aprile, il profumo gentile, ed è per voi che l'ho rapito al sole, se avessero parole le potreste mormorar. Noi siamo Cilea's 1902 opera, Adriana le Couvre. Adriana is an actress that gets involved in a love triangle that involves a princess, so it does not end well for Adriana. She sings this aria after one of her performances, turning down the compliments that are granted upon her, stating that she is but a humble servant of the brilliant creator. 1843 setting of Ferdinand Frey de Graaf's 1829 poem. And then in 1850, Liszt converted this lied along with two others into his famous Liebesträume, which you've most likely heard, which is a collection of 3 pieces for piano. The 3 songs, as well as the 3 subsequent piano pieces, depict 3 types of love. The first one is erotic love. The second one is it's erotic love. It's sacred love, and the third one is unconditional love, and what you're going to hear is the unconditional love. And I will not be reading the translation of the poem, but it is effectively, love me as long and as much as you can.